Join us for this week's Trackwork show as we head back to Randwick on a beautiful, balmy autumn morning ahead of the first Group 1 of the season, the G1 Verry Elleegant Stakes, where we honour the great mare who we sadly lost only a couple of weeks ago. The 3-year-old fillies to the fore in the Surround Stakes, headlining a great program of black type racing. We have all the latest and the updates from the trainers on how their horses worked this morning and into the weekend ahead of a big Saturday. Tommy, you've got a cracking book of rides this weekend. Let's kick things off with Buckaroo and the Verry Elleegant. You were on him first up, a real eye-catcher. Yeah,
he was. He ran enormous and he got held up for a little bit there until probably halfway down the straight, and going another 50 metres, he probably runs second to Fangirl. So he's come through that run really well, and hopefully there's still a bit of give in the track. He likes a bit of give, and he'll run very well again.
A really progressive type. You're aboard Steffi Magnetica in the Surround Stakes with the girls?
Yeah, no, she was brilliant. A little bit unlucky as well. Last start, she was held up for a little while and sprinted home late. And you could go to the start before at Rose Hill, where she arguably should have won. So she hasn't had a lot of luck of late, but that sort of goes down to a racing pattern a little bit. But hopefully we can draw well on the weekend and put her into the race a little bit more. And she's definitely probably one that's been forgotten about a little bit.
And a filly I've been really excited about seeing back in this preparation is Manal in the Sweet Embrace for the 2-year-olds.
Yeah, she was great first up, and the horse that beat her there of Gaze obviously come out and run second in the Blue Diamond. So that form stacks up really well, and I'm about to gallop her very soon, and she's a very exciting filly, and she'll appreciate getting up over a little bit more distance, and she'll be very hard to beat on the weekend.
I know you've got to go get on her, so I won't keep you any longer. Tell me, how was date night last night?
Date night's always nice. So Shani was happy, so if she's happy, I'm happy.
Beautiful. All right, go get on your horse.
Thank you.
Tom, let's just review a couple of your runners on the weekend. It was great to see Rhythm of Love back in the winner's stall first up on Friday night. What do you make of him?
Yeah, it was pleasing. He's still not quite putting his race away as well as he probably could. Hopefully will just come with a bit more time and experience. So he's come through the run well. We're weighing up options, the possibility of going to Canberra next Sunday for the Guineas. And there's a couple of options beyond that as well.
It was interesting, Nash's post-race comments when he mentioned that he sort of felt like he was going to let down, and then he pricked his ears and switched off a little bit. Is he just a laid-back type of horse?
Yeah, he's maybe just a bit babyish still, just a bit uncertain of himself in front there. And first time he sort of probably been in front of that track. I don't think he's actually been there before. So yeah, just probably a bit of greenness still, I'd say.
And then looking a little bit further back in the week, you had Linebacker, who there's been a huge rap on him. He came out and won first up there pretty dominantly. How's he come through that win?
Yeah, he pulled up very well. So he's a horse that's naturally going to be a better 3-year-old. Sort of hopefully sort of geared towards a Guineas and sort of campaign in the spring. So he's just having a nice little freshen up at our Hawkesbury stable, and then the plan is to run him in the Bayou a week after the Slipper, and then from there we'll sort of just assess options whether we push on to those main features beyond that. We'll just remain to see.
You talk about the Hawkesbury stable, and I know you've got those beautiful grassy day yards as well. Do you find that makes a difference to the horse's mentality out there?
Yeah, it does. It suits some horses more than others, and sometimes we take horses out from here a week after the run, just sort of depending on program and the type of horse they are. So just program wise, sort of five weeks between runs, I think it was. So give them a little freshen up and probably a tick over trial before the Bayou, and go from there.
No doubt a sombre week after Stroke of Luck sadly passed away on Saturday, so thoughts with the stable and connections there. What did you make of Cafe Millennium on the weekend?
He was pleasing to see him jump well. Then sort of in a slowly run race, sort of got fanned sort of slightly wide and kept getting pushed wide on the bend, probably just lost a bit of balance. Sort of had Tom Kitten inside of him, which probably wasn't helping. And he was okay to the line, probably with a more efficient run and more favourable circumstances, probably would have seen him finish off better. But confident when he does get out and trip into probably a more favourable track here at Randwick. We can see him be more effective in the Guineas in just over 10 days' time.
To a horse that we've followed for quite some time now since he came out from Europe at the Baskin, albeit I wasn't on him when he won at double figure odds. Thanks for that tip. Could we have something on him this weekend, or just a nice first up run?
I'd be surprised if he could beat Fangirl over a mile, but who knows. But he's come back very well, and we're just looking forward to seeing him back at the races. Hopefully hit the line nicely and sort of showed promise as we stepped forward in trip and to his main assignment sort of at the last stage of the carnival, potentially a race like the Sydney Cup.
Timmy, first and foremost, all systems go for the slipper after Straight Charger's win on the weekend in the silver slipper. What did you think of him?
Yeah, he was very impressive. He's come back in really good order. Expected a performance like that from him on the weekend and expect him to improve out of it as well. Although he raced recently, he went there with just the one trial under his belt, so I feel that he's got a bit more to offer.
I certainly thought that when I saw him as well. Looking ahead then to Saturday, you've got some exciting rides, and we'll start with Lindemann, who you were on first up. He's back at gelding this prep, and he was a real eye-catcher there on Saturday when he'd resumed at Randwick.
Yeah, it was a great run. He got into a good spot through the sort of the middle stages, but ultimately it sort of worked against him with probably the way the race was run, and had horses all around me, and he didn't have a lot of galloping room. So I feel there's a 6 next to his name, but it probably should be a 2 or a 3. Fangirl was excellent, and but I feel that he should have finished a lot closer. So good signs though that he's resumed with a run like that, back as a gelding, and stepping up to the mile is going to suit him.
You also have Macarena, who's another really handy filly, and when I saw her a couple of weeks ago at the races, she really looks like she's filled into her frame. She's a beautiful type of horse. Yeah,
she is. She's obviously come back in good style, and she obviously kicked off against the boys the week before the rest of the fillies, so she comes through a bit of a different form line, but we've already seen that that form's been strong and been frank with Celestial Edge and Cat running the Quinella on the weekend in the Hobart field. They both obviously come out of her first up, where she ran second. So yeah, she's had the 3 weeks going into it up to the 1400. Looks like it's going to suit her. So feel that she's in with a great chance.
Sarge, we're chatting again. Nice to see you 2 weeks in a row. Let's look back on your runners from the weekend. We'll start with the winner that you had, Byron Bell, on Friday night. She looks like she's in really nice order this prep.
Yeah, she's come up well. She runs very well fresh, and she'll run on the Wyona Mares race next Saturday at Rose Hill.
Then down at Caulfield, you also sent Harlow Miss there, and she ran 4th in the Armanasco, the Group 2.
Yeah, it's got some black type. Probably didn't go fast enough for her. She's a star resuming, and she came home nicely, but she's got back in good order, and she'll go on now to the Kembla Grange Classic.
It's a bit of a tongue twister. Yeah. Let's look ahead then to Saturday. Perfect Thought, Adam Hieronymus back aboard this gelding by So You Think, who ran last time out behind Redstone Well at Randwick here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Adam thought step up in distance, and he galloped this morning, and he said the horse has improved. So yeah, we're in the 2000 on Saturday. Adam back on board, and his work this morning was very good.
And has he been gelded since his run on the Gold Coast?
He's been gelded, so hopefully we can get him out to this distance in 1.5 miles. It should suit him.
Beautiful. In the Guy Walter, you've got Miss Fabergé, the now 4-year-old mare who we've seen last start here in the Triscay behind Samana and Olentia in a pretty hotly run race.
There was a very good run, came from last to 4th. 1400's more her go. Should suit her on Saturday. Galloped well on the Kensington this morning, and Dylan Gibbons will stay on board.
In the Sweet Embrace, you've got Photographics, this filly by Purring Canto, who we've seen on one occasion. That was back at Warwick Farm on a heavy 9 in December. How has she been since in her 2 trials?
She seems very well. She's at a peak for this. She has to be, because it's a very good field. Won well first up at Warwick Farm, and Sweet Embrace is a defining sort of race, whether you carry on with your 2-year-old or you give her a break, but she seems to be going forward, and I'm very happy with her. Being by Purring Canto and a filly who's already come up on a heavy track, does that give you confidence going into the autumn with the rain around? Yeah, I think so. She's got a long stride. Kieran McAvoy's trialled her. He knows her well now, so if we can get half a draw, I think she'll be up on speed and should give a good account of herself. Beautiful. The last one I didn't ask you about actually from the weekend was Palmetto as well. He was really good. Yeah, it was good. He just came to the end of it, beaten ahead. He'll go to the Ajax now, then the Doncaster Prelude, and if he runs well there, obviously dreaming of getting to a Doncaster with a low weight. He's quite an unassuming looking type through his whole preparation, but he does everything well at home, comes home and licks it in every time. Yeah, no, he's great. He's a typical New Zealand horse, not a lot to look at, but a very good eater, and he puts himself in a race, so it helps a lot. Ado, big weekend ahead for you. I mean, it's already been a big few weeks, particularly with all your 2-year-olds, but not a 2-year-old who you have resuming in the Tab Verry Elleegant Stakes is just fine. We haven't seen him since he ran at Caulfield over the spring. How's he come back in?
It seems in good shape. I've been pleased with his 2 barrier trials. I tried to have him as forward as we can for his first up run. No doubt he's going to improve off the back of that. I think he's going to be better suited once you can sort of get out to that 2,000 metre range once again, and potentially a bit further this preparation.
Into the Surround Stakes, and you have Tropical Squall resuming, the Flight Stakes winner. How's she come back in?
Yeah, she's in really good order physically. Seen some really good improvement from her this preparation. She's strengthened up very well. So looking forward to seeing her back. I thought her trials have been excellent. Her work at home subsequent to that's been spot on. So yeah, really pleased with the way in which she's resuming. We tried to stretch her out sort of to that Oaks trip last preparation. Ultimately, I don't think she quite saw that out. So we'll probably stick to that sort of mile to 2,000 metre range. I think this preparation for her, but she's certainly sharp enough to be effective first up.
You also have Autumn Ballet, who resumed in the light fingers. How's she come through that first up run?
Yeah, she came through it well. She was a bit disappointing to the eye, certainly capable of more, and we'd seen more from her at home. So we may just tinker with the gear a little bit with her going into Saturday. I do think she's a filly that will no doubt appreciate a little bit of give in the ground. So if she does get that going into Saturday, that'll certainly see her improving.
Chateau Miraval, you have in the Tab Sweet Embrace Stakes, was the last start winner.
Yeah, she was, and no doubt she's stepping up in grade here. But back to fillies company, which she's done very well since that first up run. She did enough to win on that occasion. I thought it was a tough effort. She had to sort of pull out plenty, and I think she's open to a lot of just natural improvement off the back of that. So looks a nice race for her. She's got plenty of talent, and she looks to have done well.
Everyone wants to know about him. He's the talk of the town, Storm Boy in the Skyline Stakes. How is the big fella?
Excellent. I can't wait to see him back at the races. Obviously a nice impressive trial in between his Magic Millions campaign, but he looks to have shown some nice improvement again this time round. So yeah, looking forward to getting him to the races, seeing him under race day pressure once again. Important race for him, an important lead up, but I feel he's exactly where we want him at this stage of the campaign.
And what work did he do this morning?
He just worked out there by himself. He's sort of done. He hasn't had to do a huge amount of work in between his trial. He's got plenty of residual fitness there, so he's just out there to have a stretch around, and I thought he did so nicely.
And then Prost as well, of course, in the Skyline Stakes. We can't forget about him. How's he come through his win? Yeah,
excellent. A lot of merit to that win. I think he was open to a lot of improvement off the back of that. He's 4 weeks between runs, but that's sort of by design, and I think this looks to be a nice race for him. Obviously a tough test, but importantly, I think he'll set him up with the big goals of the Golden Slipper and size and Champagne in mind. I think he's a horse that's got a bit of scope to keep improving. So Saturday's a nice race for him, and as I said, I think it should hopefully help prepare him towards those bigger goals.
Anthony, big weekend ahead. We kick things off with Miss Couva in the Guy Walter. She's had 2 trials so far for the prep, and she's shown a bit of intent in both of them.
Yeah, I think she's come back much better this time around than last time. A bit of a learning curve for her. I mean, it was an impressive win first up. We went to a mile, given pedigree, given the shape of her and the rest of it, and that didn't really work. And I think at that stage still very much a work in progress. Sort of came back in distance, and she was more effective again. And so we were learning a bit about her. She was learning a bit about her craft. But in the finish, it had enough, and we put her out. Coming back this time, she's taken a really good step from what she learnt through that preparation. Trial's been excellent, and this is a bit of a step up in grade certainly. But Chad was pretty impressed with her and thought she'd be up to the grade, and certainly we do. She was balloted out of a benchmark race on Wednesday, so to run now, she goes there, and I think she's well capable of proving the point.
A filly I'm really excited to ask you about is Extreme Diva, this daughter of Extreme Choice, who we saw last start running 3rd behind Switzerland in the Pierrot Plate, and arguably probably unlucky there too.
Yeah, I thought so. We didn't finish up getting the run that we thought we would from the barrier. Finished up second last in the run, and then sort of ran back into traffic down the straight. And that really told them the finish. I mean, she wasn't able to build momentum, which the winner did, and the other place getters had done. So I really thought that she was unlucky not to be fighting out the finish. I suppose we get to prove that on Saturday to some extent, but the form around her has been excellent. She's improved with each run. and I think she'll show that improvement on Saturday.
She's not an overly big filly. There's not a great deal of her. Does she need a lot of work, or does she do everything right at
she's
home?
really, she's quite a robust filly. She's had a couple of decent gallops since the other day, and had a nice little blow this morning, and she'll improve again from today's work, but today's work was easily good enough to be effective in that field.
Small but very strong.
Yeah, very strong, but she's got a great headspace. I mean, she just really wants to be there, and that takes them a long way.
Beautiful. In the Liverpool City Cup, you've got Caesar's Palace resuming here off 2 trials. We actually haven't seen him since he ran in the Musselbrook Cup. Is that the Musselbrook Cup? And that was the 31st of March last year, so he's had a long time off the scene.
He's had a decent break, had a couple of issues after that. A couple of lingering things have been around, so they elected to give him a decent break. He shows the benefit of that now. He's come back and his action's improved out of sight. Chad Schofield's with him in his 2 trials, been really impressed and thinks he's up to a high grade. Typically he's not a first up horse, and I expect he'll probably need the run, but he's on a Doncaster path, and it's a good place to start.
Pete, you've been a busy man in Melbourne over the last couple of weeks, so we'll just touch on that firstly. Will your Blue Diamond runners push on towards further 2-year-old campaigns?
I think Fearless will. High Octane probably. A little bit of a break for him maybe, but just a couple of weeks to freshen him up again. It was a flat run for him. We expect a lot more from that. And he's a better horse than that, so whether he may just come to an end of this preparation more than likely, but probably we'll give him a couple of weeks in the paddock and reassess him then.
And Fearless will likely push on perhaps for an English side?
Yeah, no, he definitely stays on. His run was a cracker. He's a lovely horse. First time at Caulfield, back a long way, got lost in the corner, which is normal, but rocketed home. So he's crying out for 7 furlongs, and his day will come.
Beautiful. Let's look ahead to your weekend runners. Firstly, in the Tab Sweet Embrace, you've got Drifting and Wavebreaker both nom. Drifting, the filly by Zustane, who was a last start winner at Hawkesbury. What do you make of her?
Yeah, nice filly. Always showed a bit of potential. I always thought in my mind she'd probably be a next time through horse. But took her to Hawkesbury just to see where she's at, and gee, she was never going to get beat. Very comfortable win. She's come on nicely from that run. We've got her in a couple of places on Saturday, and just to make up our minds for the week where we run her, but she's certainly a filly to watch out for.
And then Wavebreaker, who's got some really handy form around her. She ran behind Camelot and Manal. She was 3rd there in the Widden.
Yeah, ran great. Another talented filly, big strong thing. Stepping up to 200 metres on Saturday certainly help her. And not sure whether we run this week or next week, but just, her work was very good this morning, so we'll make a call through the week. But certainly she'll be in one of those lead-ups and should be very competitive.
Kingdom Under Siege, you have nommed for the Skyline against Storm Boy. How's he come through his first up run?
Good. He's a nice horse, actually. We showed a bit of promise, and I know it's a daunting task taking on Storm Boy, but you never know. He's the horse that we think a fair bit of, and probably out a bit further, out to 7 furlongs later on, will probably suit him even better.
Anything can happen with 2-year-olds, as we know. Tashi, in the benchmark 88, you have there the mare who has been really consistent this prep.
Yeah, no, she's a great run first up. Over 1,300 metres, she just was found wanting the last 100. Back to 1,200 on Saturday is ideal for her, and she's in great order, so certainly not out of that race on Saturday.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.